Hey dudes, welcome to the 87th upload of Aspie with Attitude. My name is David, I'm autistic, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I have a speech impairment and a speech impairment. And before I begin this actual content, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to use my notification bell to keep up to date with Aspie with Attitude. And please like and share my videos around. At the time when this episode was filmed, I only had 357 subscribers, and I'm just going to make you aware that I had started the Blue Envelope Challenge, and I'm expecting to see more than 500 subscribers by the time when I do my 99th upload of Aspie with Attitude. And this is going to be another cooking episode called Aspie Chef, and please don't forget to check out episode 16 and episode 59 for my last two cooking episodes I've done for this YouTube channel. And the reason I'm starting to talk before I start the video content is the special effects. Please look at your own will and enjoy the contents from Aspie with Attitude. Welcome to Aspie Chef number 3. For the third Aspie Chef, I'm going to be cooking hamburgers and fries. And I'm going to take you through the whole video from beginning till when I sit down and eat. And that's what I normally do with each and every Aspie with Attitude. And shall we begin? Okay. For this edition of Aspie Chef, which is number 3, those are the ingredients that I'll be using to cook a meal, which I'll be doing hamburgers, and that's why I did a nice 50s rock and roll theme and a nice 50s diner theme for the introduction. And what I have here is beef burgers. Hamburgers in Australia, we actually call them patties. And in Australia we also just call them chips. And if you live in the United States, we actually do, you guys probably call them fries, I suppose. And also never forget ketchup and the mustard. And also, since we're in Australia, we've got a brand called Bega, which is actually made on the Sapphire Coast in southern New South Wales. And I've just bought little onions, which are actually onion shallots, which means I only just really want little onions. And I've got 2 different buns, and also I never forget pickles. And my favourite salt's the pink Himalayan salt. And that's all we're going to be needing for this video when I cook that hamburger meal up. Before we begin Aspie Chef number 3, first thing I like to do is put the fidget spinner away. And I've got a little drawer on the side, and I just cannot ever forget this. Now I can't understand why celebrity chefs like Gordon Ramsay don't even talk about washing your hands before you cook a meal. And in the future Gordon Ramsay shows, I really like to see him wash his hands before he even cooks a meal. And it goes for every celebrity chefs too. And it's all part of my cooking niche to wash my hands before I even start cooking. In the kitchen, I have 2 different frying pans. I've got a round frying pan and a square frying pan. And for this episode, I'm deciding to use a circle frying pan. The reason why I don't want to use the square one is because it's going to set off the smoke detectors, which makes this overwhelming beep 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 sound, which can overwhelm people who are on the autism spectrum. I'm talking about those who have auditory stimuli or stimuli. And now I'm going to put a square one away. Now that I'm back and I'm ready to start cooking now, the way I've actually placed the frying pan on the stove or hot plate, whatever you want to call it, always make sure the handle's facing inwards. And if you have it outwards and you're cooking your meat, that will cause this. And I can imagine what it would be like. It could actually set off house fires and all that. And when cooking for other people, always have a good sense of hygiene to actually maybe wear a hat while you cook. The reason why wearing a hat while cooking's the best option is so a bit of your hair doesn't fall into the food that you're trying to cook and that you're trying to serve people. And now it's time to start cooking and get ready for the loud noise. And it's time to fry a frying pan, and I've just put more olive oil to lubricate the pan a bit too. And I'll just put a dash of olive oil. I like to cook the chips or fries, whatever you want to call it. And now it's ready to be cooked. And what I like to use while cooking is I'm going to serve it with a spatula. What I'm doing before I put fries or chips in the oven is to brown the chips or the fries, and hopefully it should turn out very crispy. I like doing in the process is maybe adding a bit of salt to it. And now this has only been for a few minutes, and it's enough to brown the chips or fries from tonight's meal. I'm going to turn off the stove for a little bit, and I'm going to move this out of the way. I have left the oven on at 220, but I wouldn't mind bringing it down to 180 degrees. I'm going to make sure I don't burn myself here. And I've just turned down the oven temperature a bit from 220 down to 180. I have stopped the oven range hood for a moment. And what I want to do now is I'm going to chop the onions. And I only pick the small onions because I only just need a small amount for my hamburgers. And what I'm doing tonight is copying the McDonald's quarter pounder burgers using the same ingredients, except this is the Aspie Chef and Aspie Attitude's version of the quarter pounder for tonight. And I'm just going to throw these out. Now after I've finished chopping the onions, now it's time to start chopping the pickles for my burgers, since you find them in a quarter pounder McDonald's hamburger. And what I like to do is just chop them in half. And chop them up to little pieces. Since I'm actually making my own version of the burgers like what you get in McDonald's, of course. And I might have made myself too much pickles. And now that I've chopped up the onions and the pickles for my hamburgers, what I like to do now is start cooking the hamburgers while I've got the chips or fries in the oven. Now it's time to turn on the range hood again. And don't forget to put the handle facing inwards on the stove or the oven top, so you don't knock the frying pan as you walk past. And now I've got a pan already greased up, and you can just see nice blue flames under there. Don't put your hands under there, otherwise you'll get burnt. And now it's time to put the meat on the frying pan. Now it's time to turn over that quarter pounder, and I'm just going to wait till when the burgers are dark brown so I can know it's all cooked through. And the chips are doing well in the oven. And this is how it's going so far for burgers. And I hope it's all going to cook through. That's not going to be pink in the centre. And what I'm using is beef patties. You know, if you're a vegetarian, you can always use veggie burgers. Or you can use any meat that you want. If you don't like beef, you can always use lamb burgers if you wish. And the reason why I chose beef burgers for this tonight's dinner is because it's the same meat they use for the quarter-pound burgers at McDonald's. You can see how the burgers have this very dark brown colour. You don't want to burn it black, but it should show that the burgers are ready to be eaten. So I've gave it a few more flips, and then it's time to turn off the stove. And now that I've finished cooking the burgers, now it's time to prepare the food. And what I have here are the buns for my burgers. The type of knife that I'm using has got this real ridge along it. It's always best to use for cutting bread. And I like to cut over the sink so I'm not dropping crumbs on the floor. And also carefully don't cut your own hand when doing it. And I'm going to repeat myself with this one. Yeah, I'm going to cut downwards, let the crumbs drop, and not drop bread in the sink. And you can just see how I kept my hand just on top of the bread, so I'm not cutting through my hand. And I'm just going to dish this knife into the sink. And I'm just going to serve the burgers in there, and I put the other one in there. And now I don't need this anymore. And it's just time to add the cheese. And I really like to finish off the cheese by adding the double slice. One here and the other one there. And I'm just going to throw this out. And I'm just going to grab the onions, put them there. And how cool is it that the smoke detectors never went off while I was doing Aspie Chef? That's why I wanted to use a round frying pan. If I had used a square one, I would have had to run it around the corner to turn off the smoke detectors, since a lot of people on the autism spectrum can't stand the sound of this beep 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 sound really loud. And now I'm just going to check on the chips. Oh yes, looking really good. Now I just like to use the tea towel so I don't burn my hands. And what I like to do to finish it off is bring the hamburger in there, because I like the cheese just to melt. And now as soon as when the cheese had slightly melted, not burning the burgers, then that means it's ready to be served. And now I've got the pickles ready. And I'm just going to put them all in the bowl. They're beautiful. Like I only really need to cut one cucumber, but I accidentally cut 2 cucumbers. And it's time to see how I'm going with it. Oh yes, it's completely melted. Now time to turn off the oven. Now that I've just finished cooking, so like I've virtually double cooked the chips and the fries since I don't have a deep fryer. And I'm just going to put them all up there on the stove. And what I like to do first is grab the burgers. Again, I'm going to show you how well the cheese have melted. Yeah, check this out. Yeah, how good does it look now that I've melted the cheese? Which is nothing like what you're getting McDonald's at all. And now I've got the pickles. And this is completely gourmet compared to fast food. The reason I like to make the cheese soft is so I can hold the pickle in proper. Yeah, I love to add the mustard. Yeah. You know, just never forget the mustard. And also, here comes the ketchup. Yep, anyway. Yeah, just a bit of an accident here. And what I've got here is a paper towel. And what I do with a bit of paper towel is, clean it. I rip an extra piece and I clean it all up. Cool. Now time to put the tops on. Yeah, here we go. Gourmet quarter pounders. And I've got tongs handy. And for salt, yes. Check this out for Aspie Chef number 3. Yeah, it's just well worth cooking all this. And now, this is Aspie Chef bonus. What I've got here is a bit of ice cream. And I'll put that excess in the sink. More ice cream. And another ice cream. And I'll put a top on. Put that aside. And I'm going to add in a straw. And I've got a smaller spoon. And I've got a fizzy drink, a soda, or soft drink, whatever you want to call it. And what I have here is a pineapple spider to go with my burgers and chips. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Aspie with Attitude, episode 87 and Aspie Chef number 3. Now it's just time to eat, and I'd like to say peace and respect. Thanks for watching Aspie with Attitude.